Shabbat Shalom and Baruchim Habayim. Welcome. I'm Rabbi Stanway, and to my left is Cantor Muchnick. It is wonderful to have you as we share a Shabbat together on a couple of Erev B'nai Mitzvah. And we're going to begin our service with the lighting of the candles, which can be found in your Siddur, your prayer book, on page 2. And I'd like to invite Alexia and her family and Jameson and his family to come on up and help us lead the candles and the Kiddush.
Use this microphone and hold it.
Yeah. So Jameson here. Okay. So somebody light the candles? Light. Pick it up. Yeah, pick it up. Okay. Blessing. Here, you do one too. Yeah. Good. Baruch Adonai.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'yitzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'yitzivanu lahadlik ner shel
Let's continue as we join Jameson and Alexia in the Kiddush on page 4.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam orei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'razvanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hin lanu zikaro l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah l'migrei kodesh zeher l'yetziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim Shabbat kodsheha be'ahava uvratzon hin haltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh
Shabbat l'chaim.
Want to take a cup, you can take a cup. You guys can take a seat.
Good. Everybody, take a cup.
We got it.
Let's continue on page 16. Zamru l'Adonai bechinor. Sing praise to Adonai with the lyre. Page 16.
Tamru
Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabala. Beloved, come to meet the bride. Beloved, come to meet Shabbat. On page 20, Lecha dodi, and as is our minhag, when we get to the last verse, we rise and turn to the door and greet the Shabbat bride. Please remain standing as we continue on page 26 with the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ואלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי וביום ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחת ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא, ואמרו
Amen. We continue with the call to worship on page 28. I'm continuing on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'arevim, b'chokhmah potech she'arim, uvitvuna itim umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim b'mishmarotehem, barakia kirtzono. Please join with me on page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And I'm continuing on page 34 with the Shema, and I'd like to invite Jameson to please come forward. You may rise if you wish. Just wait a second. You're doing the V'yavta. Is he doing the Shema?
Shema
Yisrael Adonai
Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam
Vahed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derech u'shobecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uksaftam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tiskeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim le'elohehem. Ani Adonai Elohehem, asher hotzeti atem me'eretz Mitzrayim, leot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Amen. Yashikach. Well done. Well done. You may be seated. I'm continuing on page 39. Please join me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, and that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Adonai imloch le'olam ha'en. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, rokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam ha'en. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora oseh, Nora oseh, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
We continue on page 40, on page 44 with the Vishamru V'nei Yisrael. There were two really great paragraphs in the Torah about Shabbat. One was Vishamru, and the other was Yismachu. Vishamru, you shall keep the Shabbat. Yismachu, you shall delight in the Shabbat. And they had these two great paragraphs, and they couldn't figure out which paragraph should go with which service. And so basically the rabbis flipped a coin, and they said, fine, Vishamru gets the evening, Yismachu gets the morning. And that's why we have the Vishamru on a Friday night and a Yismachu on a Saturday morning. And it's on page 44.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
We continue on page 46 with the Amidah, and we rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue till page 60 silently and take time for your own personal reflection.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
So I want you to imagine a farmer in ancient Israel. And he has walked days to Jerusalem, a basket of fruits balanced on his shoulder, filled with figs and dates and pomegranates, the literal fruit of his labor. He hands the basket, when he gets to the temple, to the priest. But his obligation is not done. To complete this ritual, the Torah tells us that the farmer must say this when he offers a sacrifice. Arami Oved Avi, my father was a wandering Aramean. He went down to Egypt and sojourned there, few in number, and became a great nation. And the Egyptians dealt harshly with us, and we cried out to the Lord, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt. Now that sounds like a strange way to fulfill a commandment. You come to drop off some fruit, which is your tithe, but then you have to make this whole declaration that has nothing to do with fruit. Why does this tithe and this fruit require what is basically a lesson in Jewish history? This is actually an essential Jewish characteristic. It is the moment that memory becomes ritual. And Ki Tavo, the Torah portion we will read tomorrow, is where the Torah shows us that this transformation happens. Let's look carefully how the commentators read this declaration. Let me give you a couple of examples. Rashi, a name you probably know, commented on the term Arami Oved Avi. And he reads the word Oved not as wandering, but as destroying. Because the word Oved, Aleph Bet Daled, is the root of the word to both wander and destroy. Rashi understands the verse to mean an Aramean, Lavan, sought to destroy my father Jacob. So the farmer isn't just noting a fact of ancient geography. He is invoking a moment of mortal danger and rescue and tying it to the fruit of his hands. My favorite philosopher, Abraham ibn Ezra, reads Oved differently. Jacob himself is the wanderer, the refugee with nothing, who arrived in Egypt with only a handful of family members. Two readings, but the same underlying claim. The prosperity in your hands today has a genealogy of vulnerability behind it, and it is our obligation to say so out loud. Nachmanides, also known as the Ramban, explains the deeper purpose of this whole ceremony. It is designed, he said, to induce a hakarat hatov, not gratitude as a private feeling, but gratitude for the good as a formal acknowledgement. In other words, the farmer who brings his first fruits must connect the season's harvest and its command to a tithe to a chain of events that began in slavery. But why? Simply so that he never mistakes his own hands for the source of all of his blessing. And the Sforno, an Italian commentator, adds, the point of reciting the story, rather than merely feeling thankful, is that feeling fades. But words, ritual, repeated in fixed form, do not fade. That's the whole innovation, actually. The Torah does not command the farmer to remember. It commands him to say. Memory, when left alone, is fragile. Take a look at how too many people distort history and claim it as a truism to support their political point of view. In truth, memory depends on mood, on generation, and mostly who happens to recall the story. Ritual doesn't depend on any of that. The Torah takes a memory and locks it into structure. Fixed words, fixed time, fixed action, repeated forever, whether or not the farmer that year happens to feel moved. And here's what I find remarkable. This exact ceremony becomes the template for the ritual most Jews around the world will observe a few months from now. Because by now you have probably recognized that this declaration, my father was a wandering Aramean, is the very first part of what? The Seder, the Haggadah. The rabbis of the Haggadah didn't compose a new telling of the Exodus for the Seder night. They reached back into the first fruits declaration of a farmer standing in the temple courtyard and said, this is the text. This is how Jews tell their story. Which means the pattern in our parashah, private memory, formalized into fixed liturgy, performed annually by everyone regardless of feeling, is not a one-time biblical curiosity. It is the foundational template of Jewish ritual itself. And once you see the pattern, you see it everywhere in Jewish practice, right up to today. Every Yom HaShoah, for instance, Holocaust Memorial Day, we do not simply feel sad about the Shoah. We ritualize the memory. If you've ever been to Israel on Yom HaShoah, sirens sound at 11 o'clock, and everybody stops and gets out of their cars in the middle of the road and the highway to stand silently for 2 minutes. Candles are lit, names are read aloud in fixed ceremonies across Israel and the diaspora. Memory converted into structure so that it survives the fading of living witness. And then the very next day after Yom HaShoah, Israel celebrates Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. From profound memory of grief to the memory of elation and freedom. The whiplash transition from grief to joy is not accidental. It mirrors precisely the structure of the farmer's declaration. We cried out, God brought us out. Sorrow and redemption bound into a single, repeated liturgical motion. Every Tisha B'Av, so many Jews sit on the floor and read lamentations, poems of destruction. Some poems written thousands of years apart, all folded into one fixed ritual, so that the memory of the destruction of the temples does not depend on any single generation's capacity to still feel the loss firsthand. And even Yizkor, 4 times a year, takes something as a private and unstructured as grief for a parent, for a brother, a sister, and gives it what? Gives it a fixed text, a fixed moment, a fixed place in the service, because the Torah has already taught us in this week's parashah, if you want a memory to survive, you cannot leave it to memory alone. Memory is malleable. Ritual is fixed. And although the ritual itself may evolve to meet new realities or new music, the core of the ritual never changes. And so here is what Ki Tavo leaves with us. The Torah could simply have said, remember that you were slaves in Egypt and be grateful. Instead, it built an entire ceremony, a basket, a walk to Jerusalem, a fixed declaration repeated by every farmer every year forever. Because our tradition understands something profound. Memory that isn't ritualized eventually dies with the generation that lived it. Memory that is ritualized outlives all of us. The question this parasha leaves us with is simple. What memory in our own lives, personal or communal, still depends on our feeling to survive? And how long will that feeling last? The Torah offers a challenge. How can we give that memory the dignity our ancestors gave theirs? Not just a feeling, but a form. Not just a memory, but a ritual. Jewish tradition has given us ritual to memory, a form to follow so that we remember who we are and who we came from. The Torah commands, take utmost care and watch yourselves scrupulously so that you do not forget the things you saw with your own eyes and that they do not fade from your memory as long as you live, and make them known to your children and to their children. Jewish history is our story. The Torah invites us to recreate it every day, some way or another. We, each of us here, are the great actors of the Jewish drama. And without us and our ritualized memory, the drama becomes unrecognizable. And so on this Shabbat, I invite you to embrace the drama. Ad lib, if you want. But always keep in mind that when you tie Jewish memory to ritual, you become a character in the great play we call Judaism and the great cast that we call the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with the prayers for those who are ill. And this evening, we are praying for the full recovery of Jonathan Mark Angel, Lillian Angel, Adam Appel, Angela Appel, Elizabeth Allman, Gary Bendel, Tori Bendel, Richard Cole, Pesach Peter Davidson, Marcia Davis, Mark Davis, Stephen D.G. Antomaso, Mitch Fine, Robin Frankel, Allison Friedman, Lois Gammerman, Amy Golden, Beverly Hamlin, Howard Hertzberg, Robin Hertzberg, Elliot Kostick, Mabel Leandra, Jane Levy, Harold Lippitz, Ken Litvak, Marty Mayer, Hannah Mekla, Michael Medoff, Linda Minkoff, Daphne Moses, Jennifer Marie Salad, Joshua Levi Salad, Marlyn Schneider, David Schwartz, Renee Schwartz, Miriam Shoemaker, Rachel Siegel Sanchez, Robert Smith, Sheila Smith, Art Weinberg, Rabbi Wender, Toby Young, and Michael Zoll. And I invite you to share names as my hand passes. Just say your name out loud.
Art Weinberg, Joe, Bob Zobel.
Please join the cantor in the Mishaberach, the prayer for healing.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor Abracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imoteinu Mekor Habracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
I guess I'll do the announcements.
I guess you should, yeah.
I feel so honored. It says Shabbat Shalom, but, we said that. So Mazal Tov to the Merowitz family on Jameson's Bar Mitzvah, and to the Alan Iglesias family on Antonio and Alexia's B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow. You're at 10 o'clock, and Jameson, what time is your Bar Mitzvah? 4:30? 5:30, okay. Back to Shul Day is this Sunday, August 30th at 1 p.m. Come and enjoy a free barbecue and fun for the whole family.
And sweat.
And sweat. As you know, the high holidays are almost here, and the registration is open. The reason we have the registration is for security, of course, because it is paramount in our minds, and to make it a comfortable and safe environment for all of you. So please be sure to register, and you'll get your card for your car, and it'll go in your window, and everybody will be happy. Visit the High Holiday section of the website cbiboca.org to register. Throughout the year, our Friday night services will be at 7 p.m. unless we have a special Shabbat, which will be at 6 p.m. Saturday morning Shabbat service and Torah study will remain at 9 o'clock for the duration of the year in the Hollander Family Chapel. Support CBI's Summer Social Action Initiative by donating hurricane supplies. Now, there's a nice thought. Drop off donations at CBI or shop on our Amazon wish list. Reminder that the Mishaberach list, the prayer for healing, is cleared monthly. Please submit the online form to add your loved ones, and yahrzeit notices are now sent digitally through Shul Cloud. Did I miss any announcements? I'm sorry? I did okay, Susie? Yeah, did I do okay? Good. I'm working on it. We continue on page 282 with the Aleinu, and I invite you to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
Please remain standing as we continue with our moment of reflection for those whose lives have ended. We observe the yahrzeit this week of Stanley Osofsky, Mark Elliott Becker, Arthur Bierman, Marilyn Bickler, Richard Blyer, Murray Sender, Bertha Cohen, Alex Coles, Bruce Cowan, Enid de Mendoya, Elaine Dugoff, Martin Doobie, Esther Elias, Edwin Friedrich, Geraldine Gershon, Edith Goldberg, Bernice Goodkin, and Diana Grant, Reggie Grossman, Donald Hirsch, Bernice Hildebrand, Nathan Honig, Mo Isaacs, Brian Cogan, Julius Kohlhagen, Joan Krein, Bertram Posas, Arnold Pastelnik, Pauline Schwedelson, Esther Shaw, Jacob Shore, Willio Tassoni, Joyce Weissman, and in the past, Shaloshim, the past 30 days, Edward H. Greenberg, Jose Iglesias, Harriet Semon, and in the past Shiva, the past 7 days, Ian Lay Gitlitz. Are there any other names that you'd like mentioned for the yahrzeits? Yes. Thank you. Please join with me in the Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, v'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, b'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא יתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לאלה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say amen. Amen. You may be seated. Motzi. So I need Jameson here. Jameson, come on up. Alexia, come on up. Who wants to hold it? Okay. Let's do the motzi together. Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Each of you take a slice and have a piece of bread. That's okay, that's okay. 5-second rule. Okay, thank you. Okay, go back to your seat. Thank you. Closing song. Our closing song is Shalom Aleichem. Do you know what page it's on? Nope. Me neither.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Roachem l'shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Amachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha, Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisal Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless us all and keep us. May God's face shine over us and be gracious to us. May God's countenance shine over all of us on this Shabbat and always. And we say Shabbat Shalom. And please join us in the Oneg room. Shabbat Shalom. What did you say?